Welcome into the Jordy Culotta Show. Wave your hand out there, baby!
Shout out to the show.
She puts the pinky into the nostril. Man, look at that.
Healthy competition, there's nothing like it.
Y'all grow up.
The line's wrapped around the stadium.
Different strengths. I just lost a tooth.
It's going to be fun.
You know, we might have a story.
I love what you're doing.
Ogeron wants to take us fishing this afternoon.
Sharif, you play for the bad boys of the SEC, man. We don't apologize to anybody.
A lot of people are saying you're going to be wearing number 7.
I don't really know. I want to.
He look crazy, Bill.
Good feet on the old man.
This is some back you know, I love.
We'll be right back with the Jordy Culotta Show. Welcome into a Thursday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, as always, built by our friends over at RMB Builders. Remember, Rhett Bourgeois and the crew over at RMB. Get in touch with them at rmb-builders.com. You can also search them on Instagram at RMB Builders. LSU baseball this afternoon, going to take on Arkansas. Two of the top teams in the league will square off, and Paul Skeen's going to be on the mound for LSU. We're going to talk to Jacques Doucet at 8:15 this morning from Hoover, as we'll get a game day report from the Hogs and Tigers on Jacques, as Paul Skeens will be on the mound. But yesterday, LSU took care of business versus South Carolina in a 10-3 win. We'll recap that coming up here. We're also going to talk to Billy Embody coming up here at 7:45 this morning. Embody will wrap up this recruiting period for LSU football. As we learned in our conversation with Brian Kelly, you know, the month of May is still a recruiting period, or still an opportunity to be out selling message, or at least getting ready for the month of June, when it becomes a big recruiting time with camps and prospects coming on campus. So we will talk to Billy Embody about all of that coming up at 7:45 this morning. Katie is here. Lloyd on a one-day trip back from Hoover.
Woohoo! Tell us about it.
We made it.
Show us the bruises and tell us all about it.
Oh yes, I bruised up.
Got your story.
You're like a battered wife.
story
Those
all
are
lined
like
up.
finger bruises.
Yeah, Mikey is into the
You
baseball
got
games.
manhandled.
I did.
It's like
I
what
did.
David
There's something I
does
could
to
do.
me.
There's something I could do. Between that, the sun, and
Yeah, you
Michael
do.
Mata.
You do have a lot of
I do.
color.
I got a little color back to me. People
like
were
it.
saying I look emaciated and pale, and I was like, well, I've been inside for 6 months.
Oh, but you like people to say that.
Yeah,
You look
emaciated made me feel good.
You're
Yeah,
like,
I
hell
was like-
yeah, thank you.
Somebody commented that on the mic'd up Twitter, and I was like, better than fat. I'll take emaciated.
I'll take it.
But we did a 24-hour turnaround. Shout out Jackie, the guy that runs the social for Mic'd Up. It is not me. It is not Michael. It is not Jared. It is Jack Ballard. Happy 21st birthday, my brother. Good driving.
Today is his 21st?
Yesterday.
And Noah's too.
And Noah.
That's weird that they have the same birthday.
Shout out both of my guys. So we had a quick turnaround. It was a blur. It all happened very quickly. The internet did not work at the Airbnb, but other than that, it was a fire Airbnb.
What was the Airbnb situation like? Like y'all each had your own room?
Well, we
Please say no. Please say y'all share a room.
I slept on the couch. I was still trying to download the lost episode. That is
now those bruises are starting to
starting to make a
You're
lot of
panicked
sense.
through the night.
Mikey sure
No,
does like baseball.
Yeah. I fell and hit the doorknob.
Right, yeah.
I fell right into that doorknob.
But
I was drunk. I don't remember.
yeah, it's nobody's fault. Look at my car. But we, so no internet at the house. That's fine. Other than that, we did a forgotten show at the 838 tailgate that if you were there, it may be uploaded. But we did a little preview. And then we did our first Twitter Spaces on the way back. Really cut the drive time down by about 4 hours because we talked probably for 2 hours. And you look up like, oh, we're halfway home.
Right.
And so it was basically just kind of a air your thoughts, opinions. People can call in on the Twitter Spaces, so it was fun.
Cool, yeah.
I had about just over 100 in there. So
Really? That's nice.
It was nice.
Good.
Better than DeSantos, I
Better
think.
than his, yeah.
That was a bad experience for old Ronnie and Elon.
Dude, what are we doing?
I mean, I don't know, Elon. You run the.
You own it.
I mean, you
That's
tell
the
us.
best part
How's
about
Twitter
it.
work? I don't know. You want to launch a rocket?
Great.
But
But
it's a good
LSU
trip.
takes care of business.
Great
Great
trip.
spot for Thatcher Hurd, man. Big spot for Thatcher Hurd. This was the big storyline that we were talking about yesterday. Look, this could be a pivotal moment. You could point back to Athens as the moment here that LSU got one of these jolts of postseason, and it could be on the right arm of Thatcher Hurd, who yesterday morning recorded his second longest outing of the season as he was in there and really was he was impressive. I thought that all in all yesterday what he was tasked to do, throwing the opening game of the tournament. We mentioned him and going 5 1/3 yesterday. He allowed 3 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, but more, he looked confident. He looked like he was in. He looked like he believed he was supposed to be there, right? And I think that was the objective last Thursday night, when Jay Johnson, put him in on the road with a lead, on a Paul Skeens performance that LSU has come to realize that they can't forfeit when Skeens is out there, right? Like they got to take advantage every time he's on the bump. They got to win. And he'll get the rock this afternoon. But, going back to last Thursday night when Skeens leaves the game with a 5-2 lead and hands the ball over to Thatcher Hurd, and, in a blink of an eye, Hurd has Georgia right back in it, and then the game's tied up at 5-5. And if this was a month ago, if this was, 3 weeks before that trip to Athens, I think Jay Johnson and Wes Johnson, they'd have made the trip out there and yanked him quick. But they looked at him on the road and said, man, you got to figure this out. And Jay Johnson, which I've heard Skip Bertman talk about, you've got to be willing to take a loss to win a championship. It looked like in that moment he was willing to lose to get his message across, right? Like Paul Skeens has come out and done his typical shutting down the opposition, 2 hits, 2 runs. Here you go, close this thing out. You can't do it. They come back and tie it up, go to extra innings. Now you got to get us out of this. You got us into this mess. You got to get us out of this mess is what Jay Johnson told him. And if you don't and we lose, that's what happens. And Hurd, he responded in the moment, and it looked like that has paid off, at least in the next moment for Thatcher Hurd, right? You want it to be consistent, and hopefully he can, pick this thing up and carry it for the next couple of weeks to regionals and super regionals and into Omaha. But I mean, what yesterday looked like, you can win with.
Oh.
I mean, that if you've got him on the staff, and you can count on that alongside Skeens, Floyd. I mean, I even thought Nate Ackenhausen yesterday looked.
Ackenhausen was a stud.
I mean, he was awesome.
That's something that obviously it feels like a little shades of what you got with Riley Cooper last year, where he seems like a little bit of the stopper, where you put him in. They had Guidry getting warm in the pen because Ackenhausen came in a huge spot where I think the bases loaded, and Ackenhausen kind of finagles his way out of there, and that was the turning point in the game, really. South Carolina had the bases loaded, 2 outs, and Ackenhausen was able to get out of a jam, and then after that, it was all hands on deck for the LSU offense, too. We're clicking now. Like, that was the spot in the game. I think it was the 6th inning where everything kind of turned like, okay, LSU's about to dominate. And they just started rattling hits off. Joe Bear goes deep, and it was just, I mean, it turned into Baton Rouge East.
Mm-hmm.
Like the place was on tilt after Ackenhausen was able to come in and get out of that jam. It was a fun experience to be a part of. And
Where were your seats? Because I kept looking for y'all.
we were first base side, like probably 15 rows up. We had media passes.
Nice.
Shout out Jared getting the hook up. And so we just found a couple places to sit. Old Clay Moffitt came with us.
Nice.
And I don't think he was ready for what we were doing, so it kind of all hit him in a blink. And took him. He took one
Whoa,
to the,
boys, it's
took
a
one to the
Wednesday.
jugular. Yeah. My dad is not going to be happy. But he came and sat with us, so we had a great time, and it was a great atmosphere. That was my first time to Hoover, so it was cool to see. No
Hoover's a
beer
good
there.
spot.
Really?
No beer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they need to get with the times a little bit. I had to
But
have
you
some.
can bring your own to tailgate?
Oh yeah, the
Okay.
tailgate was.
But no
They had
beer in the
everything under the
stadium.
sun.
I'm sure.
Nothing in the stadium unless you want to bring it yourself. You know.
Oh, you could bring it into the stadium too?
No, you just sneak it in. I mean,
Okay.
just like Tiger Stadium.
Yeah.
But so I had to
That's
settle
too
for some
bad.
Dippin' Dots, ice cream of the future.
No, you didn't.
I did. That's the
awesome.
first time I've had them since I was like 12. I was like, I gotta get something. I gotta have a treat.
Ice cream of the
It
future.
is.
If I'm not drinking whiskey,
Don't
I'm
give
eating
up
Dippin'
on it.
Dots.
Yeah, I need some sugar. It was a great time.
So LSU will face off against Arkansas today. You're probably looking at the best two teams in the league. In LSU and
LSU
Arkansas.
won 2 of 3
Right?
in the last
Yep.
Did
meeting with
earlier this
Arkansas?
season. What was that? The weekend before Tennessee got here is when Arkansas was here. It was a good series. Arkansas actually made the Friday night game pretty interesting
They did.
versus Skeens. So they'll have their opportunity again today as Skeens will be on the mound for LSU.
Did you know that for sure?
Yeah.
Has it been reported that he's going to throw? Because I know Jay interviewed after the game. He's like, it depends on who we play.
Yeah, they announced it like late, like 7 or 8 o'clock. last
Nice.
night.
Because I know Arkansas went down to the wire with A&M, and A&M
Yeah, 6-5.
10-9 in the 11th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
God, that was too long. That went on for too long.
I didn't. Yeah, there was no
I
chance
hate
I was
that.
making it to that.
So what happened with was that Arkansas A&M with the suicide squeeze?
I didn't see the F fell asleep as soon as I got home. I
Somebody
mean,
tried like a
24 hours of power.
Somebody tried like a suicide squeeze. The runner at first gets called for interference. Runner from third scores, doesn't score. They send him back to third, so it's first and third, no outs. Like they just went back to the batter being in the box.
But that's a huge testament to A&M. I feel like they're a team that's going to obviously is in the losers bracket, but I think you'll see them put a charge into it, like, and maybe make a push through the bracket. They're worried about their pitching. We talked to Nolan Kane a little bit, saw him, and he was saying like if we can get through this one, maybe we have a shot. So I don't know how far they'll go, but that's a great. They gave their best effort to help LSU. I would say, because now that you go into the 11th, Arkansas had to burn like 6 pitchers, I believe, and so LSU is kind of they used 2, and you get if it's Skeen shove day, it feels like this kind of thing is setting up for LSU's momentum to keep rolling wherever if you go back, a week ago, you thought the wheels were falling off the joint, and now LSU is sitting in prime position to maybe win the SEC tournament and roll into a regional where you host. Obviously, you will host now. You're top 8 seed, and maybe get through a regional, win a super regional. And I feel like what you saw from Thatcher yesterday, you have your game 1 starter for a regional.
Oh, I think that was a date. I think that was
the
almost an
test case.
audition for
Yes.
that, right? I think that you were looking at yesterday's performance in Thatcher Hurd and said, look, not only do you need today to be executed, if you can pull this off, you're getting the rock next weekend.
Exactly.
I mean, like, be ready. So it was great to see Thatcher Hurd respond in that moment. I expect him to be the opening game starter of the regional next weekend because of that performance. And hopefully LSU can capitalize on it. Look, you knew at some point that LSU was going to have to go through some adversity. They were going to have to go through – they were playing too good too early where you knew, like, look, this is unsustainable for 56 games and postseason run. I mean, you're going to have to go through some type of adversity, and it was the pitching, the bullpen, the injuries, the inconsistency on finding and throwing strikes. And now hopefully they're starting to work their way out of it because that lineup is always there, right? I mean, like, for as much as, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster for individuals over the last couple of weeks, you've still got enough talent where you can plug and play a Josh Pearson in where, I mean, like, just out of nowhere, here you go. you're playing at this time of the year. Like, I mean, I hadn't heard Bear Jones's name in a minute.
Right.
Like,
but
who
then
else?
you
Here
insert
comes Joe
Pearson.
Bear.
Right.
You know, I mean,
Joe Bear is hot.
He's hot, right? I mean, they're coming where you've got so much option. You know, you've got so many choices offensively that, man, I have so much confidence in that part. Like, you know, I mean, I know that Arkansas is throwing their dude today. I mean, I think they're throwing their big gun, right? So, I mean, okay. You know, like, nobody really scares me from a pitching standpoint against this offense with as many just weapons as they have.
And especially with the way that Jade's kind of maneuvered the lineup to where Dylan Cruz is now batting leadoff. I think that was good for him just so he can start seeing some pitches, because he was getting to the point where he never knew if he was going to get pitched to or not. And you can kind of, Mikey was talking about this, he can speak to it better than I can, but he went through the similar thing whenever he was probably the best player on the team at that time. And he's like, they weren't pitching to me. I was getting walked every other at bat. Like, I think he had like something like 7 straight walks in a series. And you mentally, whether you like it or not, you check yourself out because you don't expect to see a pitch. Okay. And if you see one and miss, then you're like, oh, that was my only opportunity to get a hit. Like, I'll just keep looking for, I don't expect to get another fastball, whatever. And so if you put Dylan at the top of the lineup, now you have an opportunity where you have to pitch to him. You don't want to start off the game with the leadoff walk. And with Joe Bear coming through, with Pearson coming through, it just seems like this is probably the best way. And I know that they want to put Cruz probably 3 in the lineup to where you have, like, kind of set the table for him. Uh-huh. But at this point, it feels like Jade's kind of falling back to what's comfortable, which is good. Like, don't overthink it. Put Cruz into where he has to get pitched to, and then you have Trey Morgan back at first, which you saw yesterday.
I love that.
And just, yeah, me too. Mm-hmm. And it just seems like everything's kind of falling in place at the right time for LSU.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're going to talk more LSU baseball coming up here with Jacques at 8:15 this morning. We'll also talk to Billy Embody. Embody coming up here at 7:30 this morning, as we will talk to him about the latest in recruiting as the Tigers are closing in on on this class of 2024 is really starting to pop, obviously, with the camp circuits coming up in the month of June. There'll be a lot to talk about, so we'll get to all of it with Billy Embody coming up here from On3 Recruiting at about 7:45 this morning. So in about 20 minutes, we will talk to him. There is a piece getting some run that I was looking at. Greg McElroy was on ESPN explaining the life of college football coaches, really kind of starting to shorten up. And I agree with this sentiment, and it's because of the money, right? And you know, McElroy makes the point that you will rarely see in today's college football world guys like Mac Brown and Nick Saban existing, where they're coaching into their 70s, right? I mean, think about when we were all growing up. I mean, football coaches were
old.
In my opinion, I mean, like the way I perceive, they were always old men.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They were always kind of like old
with
guys,
a belly.
right? You know what I mean? Like wearing like short sleeve button ups with, you know, ties, and
sunglasses.
I mean, who was that old coach at Ole Miss? Was it Jerry Brewer?
Was that who it was?
I mean, who was like he just looked like, I mean, he looked like a corpse. You know, I mean, like he looked dead. Coaching on the sideline. I mean, like just all these old men that were in this trade, and you know, during the shift, I think the NFL was the first to kind of start it.
Sylvester Croom.
And
I didn't think of him that way, really.
And then, you know, college football started to kind of take grip to it, was, you know, starting to go young, right? To start looking at some of these younger coaches and start to give them responsibility. I mean, even going back to like Bill Belichick, right? Like when Bill Belichick got like the Cleveland job. I mean, he was kind of a younger guy at the time where, you know, the NFL was perceiving like taking a gamble on. I mean, fast forward that 20 years to Sean McVay, you know, where you're hiring a 34-year-old, right, to run a brand new franchise in Los Angeles. And 4 years later, you're Super Bowl champs. And, you know, every franchise in the league is trying to cherry pick off of your coaching tree. And that combined with the amount of money that they are paying in this industry now has totally changed the landscape. I tell my son all the time, right? I mean, like when I was kind of deciding what I wanted to do, what do you want to be when you grow up? When I was kind of going through that thought process, I thought I even wanted to do media or I wanted to be a basketball coach. And I had a great opportunity at the time to be a basketball coach if I wanted to pursue that. John Brady, who was the head coach at LSU at the time, had given me access and a position where I could learn it, I could get experience, I could put it on a resume. And, I mean, if I wanted to really commit to it and stay in it, I could make a life out of it. But I saw that, he never spent time with his family. He missed out on so many, just kind of life moments for his kids. And I could tell how much it affected him. And then more than anything, going to the Final Four in 2006 and then 14 months later watching him get fired was just like this eye-opening. I remember in that moment thinking, I don't want to do this. I don't want to miss my family and then have, go to the mountaintop and then, have the rug ripped out from under you, just almost a year later after that type of, success, which, I mean, LSU basketball, how are you going to fire a guy who just went to the Final Four, right? And that at that moment, I, really kind of put my head down and said, I'm going to media. I'm pursuing media. This is what I want to do. I know I want to be around sports, but I'm not going to coach it because I just saw that. And if I would have known a decade later that they're paying the LSU head basketball coach $2 million like Will Wade was making, I mean, I told little Jay, you get in, you can make some cash and get out. Fire me. By the time you're 11 or 12, I'm back. What'd I miss? Now we're in a totally different tax bracket experiencing these types of life experiences. It's decisions that you want to make, but the amount of money that is being, and that's basketball, right? Not the $100 million contract that's across the street with the football coach and that everybody now in the country is following suit on. And McElroy brings up the example of Dan Mullen, and I think Dan Mullen's a great example. I think Matt Luke, who is another example that McElroy brings up, is someone that you can look at and say, yeah, look, Matt Luke is, been in coaching his entire life. He gets a SEC head coaching gig, in his mid 40s when he's in the industry for nearly 20 years. He gets an incredible buyout to leave the job, a 7-figure buyout to just walk away. The University of Georgia hires him to be the offensive line coach, probably overpays him by a couple of $100,000 because he's got a head coaching experience on his resume. They win the national championship. He looks around and says, I don't want to do this anymore. I got enough money in the bank to live a couple of lifetimes. I hadn't seen my kids in 10 years. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm leaving. Dan Mullen got a 7-figure payout to leave the University of Florida. Hey, man, appreciate what you've done the last couple of years. Here's over $1 million. Here's $12 million to leave. Cool. I'll just go play golf every day and get me a little radio gig where I dial in and talk college football twice a week on Sirius XM, pick up a little stipend there and, wait and see if something comes along that really tugs at me, that really pulls me back. But, it better be something monumental because I got all this cash in the bank and I'm living a pretty relaxed lifestyle and I don't have to worry about all these administrators and fans breathing down my neck over a 4- and 5-star recruit to choose my school.
Got to go get Buckner.
Right? And then I've also got this young 30-year-old that's on my staff that wants my job. I agree with McElroy. I don't think that you'll see these long-lasting, relationship building with the fan base types of coaches. Brian Kelly, Lincoln Riley. I think that's going to be more of the norm. That'll be more of what you see, right? Look, there'll be outliers. Kirby Smart I never see leaving Georgia, right? But I do think that Kirby Smart maybe 2 or 3 national championships from now and has over $60 million in the bank and has money invested for all of his kids and grandkids' lifetime, that his next generations of smarts aren't going to have to work. It says, I mean, do I want to chase this kid in Missouri? Do I want to chase this kid in South Florida?
Gotta watch Instagram Lives every day.
I mean, do I want to jump on this helicopter on a Friday night and go, fly into this high school football game? I mean, when he first got the gig and he was flying to Justin Fields games in helicopters, it was a big deal. And he got off and you could tell he loved that swag and he loved what came with that. Does it still hit 100 million later and
2 natties?
A couple of natties and 5 stars littered all over the NFL that, coming from Georgia? Maybe it does. But, I mean, human nature would tell you probably not. Probably not. The reason why Jerry Brewer coached at Ole Miss for forever is because they were paying him probably $85,000.
And there was nobody there to threaten him.
Yeah, I mean, who else wants the gig?
He doesn't want it.
There's guys in Oxford selling insurance that are making more than Brewer is. I mean, it was just a different time, right? I mean, LSU was a little different because they had a young Mike Archer that they went to after, an old guy in Bill Arnsbarger, right? And the young guy that they handed it to just couldn't really handle it, was the perception.
Do you think?
Sorry,
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Do you think that you see Brian Kelly make it more than the 10-year deal that he's on right now, or it's going to be 10 years? And considering he's right in that window of where you expect success, right? And if he's able to he's obviously chasing a very elusive national championship. That's his goal. That's why he left Notre Dame. That's why he came to LSU. Do you see him getting extended past the 10 years, or LSU starts to, I mean, this is way down the road, but if we're talking about coaches and age, I'd imagine that he's right in that window where kind of Kirby Smart is, where it's if I can win 2 national championships.
Is he winning?
And 10 years in, and I got 2 national championships, I'm good. I don't want a 3-year deal.
I think that Kelly is here for the contract. I don't know if they would extend his years, but I could see him making more money if he gets a national championship.
When?
Right.
When.
That's right.
If we get Georgia's schedule, that'd be nice.
They have an easy schedule.
Oh my God!
I saw something on Saturday Down South or something the other day because I remember looking at it that Mississippi State had an easy one. I guess Georgia was down there at the bottom. Ole Miss has a pretty hard one, I think, and LSU has one of the hardest, right?
Yeah, but I mean it's just it's the West versus East. Georgia plays,
but Georgia doesn't have that monumental non-conference game at the beginning of the schedule.
Yeah.
They don't have Florida State.
Yeah.
They don't have, they're not going to play that game, which is weak.
But they don't care. They're the number 1 team in the country.
I mean,
you don't have to.
care.
I mean, they don't. I mean, it doesn't. But I mean, I just don't know why you wouldn't want to test that team.
I know.
Especially Kirby Smart.
I know.
I mean, he's so arrogant. You know what I mean? So I guess it's not arrogant anymore. He's just confident. I mean, it's like we'll play anywhere, anybody. I mean, I just when you look at that schedule, you're like, why?
Yeah.
You're going to get highly criticized.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have to win every game.
Yes.
Playing that game. Not only do you have to win every game, you got to win every game by 28 points, 21 points. Breaking in a new quarterback.
I know. I'm
I
so
mean,
curious about that.
I mean, you'd almost rather your guy catch a bullet early. Hey man, welcome to it. Here's USC.
Right.
Here's somebody that you
That
got to
would be
be.
good.
It's not South Carolina State. I mean, it's embarrassing. Their schedule
South Carolina
is
State.
embarrassing. I want to say that's their opening game.
Is that really their opener? Is that really a team?
They're playing the SWAC.
Oh yeah, it's Tennessee Martin.
That's who it is.
Tennessee Martin, Ball State, and then you get your real test with South Carolina, but it's at home. And then you go UAB, Georgia plays Auburn away. Kentucky doesn't have a quarterback. That's at home.
They can't do anything about that.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're playing.
They can't control that part. The
Right.
part that they control, they're playing Tennessee Martin and Ball State.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
know.
I get playing one of them.
UAB, yeah.
Yeah, their non-conference games are Tennessee Martin, Ball State, UAB, and Georgia Tech.
I mean, that's probably
It's 3 wins.
That's probably
Yeah.
$4.5 million of games they're paying for. I mean, they're paying those people to come in.
I know.
Which you have to have on your schedule.
Yeah.
But you also need that if you're them. I mean, if you're that brand, take that brand to Dallas and go play in Cowboy
God,
Stadium
no.
against
Why are they not?
Texas. Texas. Go
They're
play
playing the
against-
long game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll
And they're
see.
playing-
I'll see you in the
Final Four.
I'll see you in the playoffs. And if you want to, I mean, you saw, and you'll see them in the SEC championship. That's going to be that's the litmus test.
Yeah.
They'll play against either LSU or Alabama or somebody from the West, where it's okay. Let's see how good we are.
Right.
Brett L says Oklahoma was on Georgia's schedule. I do remember that. That's
they
right.
are.
But I mean, it was a replaceable game. I mean, when they backed out, I know it was because when the league announcement happened is when all this thing kind of started getting shifted around. Like that Texas LSU makeup game, they got COVIDed out.
Yeah.
Like they were talking about making that one up, but they decided not to because they're coming into the conference, so they're going to make it. You know, like that game's just a wash.
Kick the can down the road.
Yeah.
That game just is a wash. Like this Oklahoma Georgia game is now just a wash.
Yeah.
Like they'll just they're saying we'll play you in conference.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the draw it once was. You know, I mean, when it's a non-conference built-up game, it's a lot bigger
Yeah.
of a matchup. You know, it's still a big game. I mean, you know, LSU Alabama is a huge game.
Right.
It's a Western Division SEC game. But you know, LSU Florida State, you're like, oh yeah,
I know.
You know, I mean, that's something that you want to see.
Who had the easiest? Do you still have it pulled up? I feel like
But
it
I
was
mean,
like Missouri.
Georgia.
Georgia, I feel like it's
No
Georgia.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
Like,
Jeez.
I mean, Katie, listen to the 4 non-conference
know.
games. Who do they play in the West? Auburn and
Kentucky.
they play Auburn
No.
every year.
They play Auburn, Kentucky, and Ole Miss.
Auburn and Ole Miss are their 2 Western Division games.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know,
And Tennessee might be a threat. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know, it feels like kind of a bit of a flash in the pan from what you saw last year. We'll see if that can continue without Hendon Hooker. I think is it Milton the third, their quarterback, that's going to come in. He showed flashes in the bowl game where it's like, oh, he's electric.
Yeah, I forgot about
Kind of
him.
like shades of Nussmeier where
People think he's better than Jaden Daniels. But yeah.
we'll see. We'll see. But it feels like somebody that you don't trust absolutely. I would take Jaden over Joe Milton.
all right, we're going to talk to Billy Embody about football recruiting next. If you have any recruiting questions, jump inside of the chat. Remember, you can hit the subscribe button on YouTube and keep up with the show every day, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. When we come back, we'll talk to Billy Embody. This show is brought to you by Katie's Restaurant. Remember, Katie's Restaurant down in New Orleans. Get in touch with them, katie'sinmidcity.com. katie'sinmidcity.com. They got great New Orleans food to choose from on the menu. They also have St. Louis-style pizza that you can choose from online, katie'sinmidcity.com. Since 1984, you can go check them out down there on Iberville Street, right in the heart of Mid-City. Go see Scott Craig and the crew and tell them you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show. katie'sinmidcity.com, katie'sinmidcity.com. Don't forget about Francesca's, their sandwich shop, which is located in Lakeview. All of that online, katie'sinmidcity.com. Billy Embody talking recruiting next. Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Get going and get it done. Get going and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get going and get it done. Get going and get it done.
In 1975, Mike Anderson left the gridiron for the grill, opening a po' boy shop near LSU. If you're from Louisiana, odds are you've tasted a dish, experienced the tradition of Mike Anderson's seafood. 48 years later, the tradition of Mike Anderson's lives on with the next generation.
I'm very thankful.
He's never allowed okay to be okay. It's a driving force for me to just want to keep it as good as he made it.
Mike Anderson Seafood and WAFB, celebrating the community.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to FourierAgency.com.
Hey, she's on her way up.
Hey, G, I got you something.
Hey, Coach. What do you think? Is this too much?
If you look good, you play good.
All right, then. Let's get it done.
Do you need your roof checked or just ready to get a new roof? Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal has helped over 10,000 customers with their roofs over the last 2 decades. Premier South employs over 300 team members in South Louisiana. They're accredited by the Better Business Bureau. They've been named in the top 100 roofers in the nation for a number of years. And Premier South has former insurance adjusters in-house whose job it is to help get all the insurance money you deserve. So go to PremierSouthLA.com for Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal and get your free inspection.
Premier South Roofing.
Welcome back here, Jordy Culotta Show, driven, empowered, and built every day by RMB Builders. Remember our friends over at rmbbuilders.com.
They're up in my driveway right now with a concrete truck.
Ooh.
It's real nice over there.
Whirring and spurring.
How long have they been at your house, Katie?
Since last July.
I was about to say, because I can remember like last summer coming to your
By
house.
the time they're done, the kids will be gone.
No, they won't. They'll be done at the end of the summer.
Made a couple friends coming to your house last
Is that what they told you?
From R&B. Yeah, that is what they told me. I mean, it really, now that they're pouring the concrete, and then they'll frame tomorrow, and then it'll be like easy after that. It'll be good. Don't y'all worry.
Kids will be graduated.
Stop it,
Empty
Lloyd.
nest. New
Shut up.
4th floor. All that house.
Stop.
With no birds in the
Anyway,
nest.
we got Billy.
We do have Billy Embody.
We're gonna move in, Billy.
Fresh face from On 3 who covers recruiting over there.
Have a day.
They do it very well over there. On3.com. And then, of course, you can keep up with the LSU site as well with the Bengal Tiger. Billy, good morning. How are you?
Doing well, guys. How are you?
Doing good. Recruiting season is about to hit us, right? This is we talked to Brian Kelly a little over a week ago and said that the schedule has changed a little bit as far as, how they allot their time in the offseason. May is more informational about NIL, but once it gets to June, this is really a hot month for recruiting. What do you see on the horizon here?
Yeah, I think nowadays, a lot of prospects want to get their decisions out of the way before their senior seasons. You'll have a select few that take them into the season and then take it all the way to early signing period or national signing day. Some guys are sleepers, some guys are highly touted prospects. But this month of June is probably what I would call closing time on about 75% of the class that LSU is going to end up signing. They have 15 commitments already on board, which is a really good number to have and ahead of where they were last year. But now they're going to host a bunch of prospects for official visits. They're going to be battling other schools that are hosting them for official visits. And a lot of these guys that are going to take summer official visits are going to make that decision before their senior season. And so you've got to knock it out of the park when they hit campus in June in hopes that you can close them out, get them on board, and then try to hold on and keep your class together. When the season comes, and we saw a couple late flips, and LSU did the same to a couple prospects too. But, this is that time of year where it's time to buckle down. It's going to be all hands on deck for Brian Kelly's staff. They just spent the last month and a half doing the evaluation period, hitting high schools across the country, seeing prospects in person, making offers, especially in the rising junior and sophomore classes. So a lot of their new prospects to know for the future cycles have picked up offers. And then they've gathered a bunch of information about the guys they're recruiting now. Like you mentioned, which ones are, maybe NIL focused, which ones should be stacked where on their board. It was, you're right, a ton of information gathering over the last month and a half. And now LSU can kind of tee up their board at all their different positions and, have a better idea of probably where they stand entering the summer and what they have to do to get some of these guys on board. So it's going to be busy. Camp season is also here, so a lot of prospects will hit campus as well for that.
Bill, when I look at the top recruits for this class of 2024, it looks as if LSU is making a run and trying to close at least on the top 10 group of them. At the top of that list is Dominic McKinley, who is a defensive lineman out of Acadiana. We talked to LaTerrence Welsh earlier this week, who was a part of the Wreck and Ram program in 2 state titles. Where does LSU sit with McKinley right now?
Yeah, they're right at the top. It's one of those recruitments that is going to be a complete battle war. I mean, if you're Brian Kelly and his staff, you look at the need for a defensive tackle, and then you have one right in your backyard that is a 5-star for us at On 3 and is one of the best players in the country. You turn on his junior tape, and it's just dominant, and that has led to not only LSU being involved, of course, but Alabama, Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Ohio State, Georgia. Those are some of the programs that are tossed around when it comes to Dominic McKinley, Texas as well. So they're going to have their hands full with that one. He's not set an LSU official visit just yet. There's always this fine line for LSU is, do you officially visit guys that are in the state over the summer, or do you save them for December? If you're saving them for December, the idea is that you feel really, really good about where you stand, and you're going to get them back on campus for an official visit when they're committed, most likely. And in Dominic McKinley's case, I think the family wants to take all their official visits in the summer and kind of knock them out. As far as the decision timeline goes, we'll see if that ends up being one that takes place in the summer before senior year, so he can focus on trying to push for another state championship. But LSU is right at the top for Dominic McKinley. There's no doubt about it. I would say probably the biggest challenger you're looking at, Texas A&M probably being the biggest challenger right now for him. Oklahoma made a really good impression, and Todd Bates recruits defensive linemen and defensive tackles really well. He's just one of those guys you've got to have if you're LSU. They have a really good opportunity to land the top 10 list of prospects in Louisiana for us at On 3, and that's if you get 9 out of 10, that's great. You've got to get Dominic McKinley.
Right, he's the must get. Last week they picked up another one out of Acadiana, or at least out of that part of the state, at Lafayette Christian in Juwan Johnson. He decommits from Colorado and pledges to LSU almost immediately. What does LSU get?
Well, he's a terrific high school quarterback at LCA. He's really productive in that respect, and that's always a good sign when you see defensive backs excel on both sides of the ball. And we saw him at summer camp when he earned his LSU offer last year, and he was really impressive. Moved laterally very well, very agile, quick, all those things that you need to play nickel. He has those tools in his bag. So I really like the addition. I think he's somebody that is maybe flying under the radar a little bit more just because he plays quarterback. He doesn't have defensive back film out there really in the high school game. So he's going to be able to, continue to work on that over the next year or so. It wouldn't surprise me if he was back camping with LSU as a defensive back. He'll be the quarterback for LCA when they come for the 7-on-7 tournament. But he's just a really quick athlete, and I like the addition in Juwan Johnson for sure.
Billy, there's been some chirps about a potential flip from Alabama to LSU, potentially from a big-time player in Sterling Dixon. Have you heard that LSU has made up some ground on Dixon, and where does his recruitment stand right now?
Yeah, LSU feels like, and Auburn as well, feels like the door is kind of open there a little bit. When Pete Golding left, he was the one that took the commitment from Sterling Dixon. He's out of the Mobile area and is a guy that probably compares well to Kalaj Cobbins, who's committed to LSU as well. He's got the similar game where he plays a little linebacker, he plays a little edge rusher, and I think Sterling Dixon's a really, really talented prospect. It's always tough to pull guys out of the state of Alabama, and especially when they're already committed to the Tide. Or even Auburn for that matter, but especially Alabama. But LSU is in constant contact. They've had him on campus for a visit since he committed to Alabama, which is always a good sign. Sometimes, different programs across the country, kids commit and they say, oh, I'm still interested in X school, Y school, but they never end up visiting. But Sterling Dixon wouldn't shock me if he popped back up on campus this summer. And that just, shows LSU's kind of trying to chip away and stay in it. I don't know if a flip is imminent with him or anything like that, but they are in constant contact, which is right now all you can ask with a guy like that.
Another one in the top 5, Bill, that I think LSU is really trying to close in on and get is Tylen Singleton, the linebacker out of Manny, who is from North Louisiana, which I mentioned that we talked to Brian Kelly a little over a week ago. When we brought up recruiting, he specifically mentioned the north part of the state, and when he referenced that, he brought up 2 schools that were in that part. So you could tell that there is an emphasis to go and lay a footprint back down. How important is Singleton, and where do they stand with him?
Yeah, I think Tylen is a really important recruit from the standpoint of just optics that, Manny has not necessarily been, a place that LSU's either had much success at or has been that friendly, but now they have the coaching change. And Tylen Singleton is been somebody that LSU has really done a nice job with over the past year. He really, really likes Matt House. they have a really cool, what I would call a cool role for him in mind if he does end up at LSU, kind of a nickel linebacker, a guy that can cover, he can run, he can maybe move around and do some different things, which I think is intriguing for a prospect. A couple other schools are kind of thinking, similar things with him. And position versatility with him is something that is coming up. Is he a safety? Is he a linebacker? But Arkansas, TCU, Texas A&M, Tennessee, those are some of the programs that they're battling for him. But I think he's very important. I do like where LSU stands for him. I think the Tigers are the team to beat. And we'll kind of see how it unfolds as he's got some official visits. He's one that's going to most likely take an LSU official visit this summer and then get his decision out of the way. So if that's the case, LSU, going to push, going to, make all that effort to get him on board. If they do, they're going to really have one of the best linebacker hauls in the country when you add him into a group that includes Xavier Atkins and Devon Keys.
Billy, I noticed that you were at Duncanville yesterday for spring game, I'm guessing.
I was.
LSU stand with Colin Simmons and Caden Durham, the running back.
Yeah, Duncanville is one of those places to be around the country, and a bunch of college coaches were there, a ton of media, and Colin Simmons was absolutely just dominant. He's right in that list for me right now as he enters his senior year as one of the best prospects I've seen, quite frankly, in the years that I've been doing this. He's just so dominant off the edge. He bends. He's added a spin move to his repertoire. I mean, he can bull rush here and there. He's got speed. He's physical. He looks the part. He just is all the things. And if he ended up at LSU, he'd probably start day one in my mind. And LSU is right there, right in the mix for him. He is going to take it all the way to early signing period. I believe he hasn't really said early signing period, but most think early signing period. He's going to take a few official visits this summer. I think Texas, I think Miami, I think Oregon. But the trio of schools that he's going to officially visit in the fall, most kind of feel like are starting to maybe separate at the top for him, are Alabama, LSU, and Texas A&M. And he's going to be on campus for LSU's game against Florida for his official visit, and then he'll go from there kind of on a decision when it comes down to early signing period. And LSU's done a really nice job recruiting him. Jamar King set up LSU really well here, and John Jancic has picked up the ball and really ran with it. And he talks to everybody. He talks to Matt House. He talks to Kerry Cooks, who has really recruited Dallas well. Sherman Wilson. He talks to Brian Kelly a lot. So he is very much a top priority for LSU. It's a position of need. And, I think LSU's going to be right in the mix. I think that one could maybe have some twists and turns as far as buzz goes, but they're right there for him. And then Caden Durham, I've gone back and forth on kind of where I feel the lead is with Caden Durham, but I left there feeling better about LSU's chances. And they're battling Oklahoma for the most part for him. He has a ton of family up at Oklahoma or in Oklahoma right around Norman and things like that. So there is that kind of pull there. Emmett Jones is a Dallas recruiter who's done really well recruiting Dallas. DeMarco Murray is obviously a former NFL star who played for the Cowboys, so he's very familiar with him, and they're really pushing hard for him. LSU is bringing him in for an official visit as well this summer. Frank Wilson has done a really nice job recruiting him, and I mean it's kind of a toss-up. I do think this is one of those prospects, and he's very, very low key. He doesn't talk top schools. Kind of had to pull out those official visits, like he's taking an official visit to Michigan State. Not many people are giving the Spartans much of a chance, but that visit kind of got out, and he, I don't think, was too thrilled about it, just because he does like to keep his visits, kind of quiet and top schools quiet. He doesn't have a decision timeline, so it can kind of come at any time, but you'd expect maybe him to get it out of the way before his senior year. So he's very low key. I'm very intrigued by that one, but I did leave Duncanville. You talk to a bunch of people around the program, and you could get a couple different sides of it. You can get the OU side. People feel like OU is a team to beat. You get people saying LSU is a team to beat. So that might be one of the most intriguing recruitments of the cycle.
Billy, who is the best you've ever seen? You mentioned Colin Simmons is one of them. Who is?
I would say Stingley. I would say Stingley was the most dominant player on the field in high school that I've ever seen. Kyler Murray was pretty unbelievable too in high school. Jamar Chase was awesome. Terrace Marshall. I mean, if he hadn't gotten hurt his senior year, he might have had like 4,500 yards receiving.
That's right.
With Justin Rogers as quarterback.
What did he just play? He played just 2 games. Did he just play 2 games his senior year?
2 or 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Because he got hurt in that I think they call it like the Battle for Shreveport or something up there at Independence Bowl. But I would say those are right up there as far as on-field guys that are among the best I've ever seen.
Do you have Jamar Chase going to DB? Is that where you projected at the next level?
No, I tell you, everybody knows Jimmy Chase, and I told Jimmy Chase I saw Jamar in an early spring 7-on-7 tournament. I said he's going to be a 5-star, and I was not lying. I got some text messages to some folks on the rankings team to prove that one, and it's one you feel good about every now and again.
Seems to have panned out.
Billy, you cover both of them as close as anybody in recruiting. Can Trey'Dez Green really do this? Can he play both? I mean, I've seen Marcus Spears, Michael Clayton, Corey Webster. I've seen guys that have come through here that have been big-time basketball players. Green's a big-time prospect in basketball. He might be a first-round pick at tight end. What do you can he do this?
It's really hard, and a lot of it is more so that the sports overlap, and for about half, I guess the non-conference for basketball overlaps with the back half of football. So it's going to be really hard. I think the one thing with basketball is if he adds the weight that he needs to for football to be a every down tight end and maybe not necessarily just a pass catcher, that might make it a little bit more difficult. Like if he gets all muscled up and things like that for football, might be difficult for him to do basketball. But I do think he is talented enough to do basketball as well, and maybe be a 14th guy, I guess, for the team, and maybe provide some minutes here and there. But he's going to give it a go, and I mean, he is talented enough to be on the roster and deserve a spot. He's not one of those, let's offer him in basketball to make him feel better about coming here types of situations. He can play, and Matt McMahon's staff really helped recruit him as well in that respect too.
All right, Bill. So month of June, you traveling, you camping every weekend?
Camp season, official visit season. Every weekend will be about gathering intel and following up with these guys that hit campus for official visits. LSU's camps they've done a little tweaking, so they've got an elite camp early in the month of June on the 7th, and then they've got offensive line, defensive line camp on the 2nd and the 10th. They've got their 7-on-7 tournament on the 10th, and then they've got a Friday Night Lights camp on the 16th, and then the 17th of June is their final elite camp. So it'll be camp season. I love June. I think it's awesome. You got all the official visit intel, and the camps are a great opportunity to just keep seeing these guys out. And I picked some good spots to hit this spring, and got out to some of the Under Armour camps too, which are always good. So I'm ready for the LSU camps. I mean, they always do a good job of bringing in talent. It's probably the premier camp in the country. Just you never know who's going to show up.
Wow.
You look back at some of them and you're like, wow, they had Jermaine Matthews. He was an Ohio native, but he came all the way down and camped and looked the part. He was probably the best DB to roll through there all summer, and he ends up being a 5-star and staying home to play for Ohio State. But he was randomly at LSU's camp. So It's always there's so many good storylines.
Ton of information coming up on recruiting. Make sure you are a member over at On3. On3.com right now running a special for recruiting season. So go get your 6-month subscription now. On3.com. And then, of course, as we said with the Bengal Tiger Report, Billy Embody, Shay Dixon, and the crew do an incredible job of keeping you up to date on all of the prospects. Thanks for keeping us up to date, Bill. Have a good weekend.
Is Shay back?
Anytime, guys.
He's still gallivanting?
Yes.
Still gallivanting.
Crushing olives.
Yeah.
Later, man. We'll see you.
It's legal
guys.
here.
Have a good one.
That's right. Olives and grapes for the Dixons.
The Mediterranean diet.
I saw he sent out a little collage of pictures yesterday from Europe.
He did.
He might not come back.
I mean, like
Europe
if
suits him.
there is one person that looks as if he is
European.
the European lifestyle,
He's so European.
with his rolled up pants and his cigarettes,
His bandana tied around his neck.
Just
Sunglasses on.
That's amazing.
Just all of it, man. Sitting in the middle of a wine vineyard, taking
Lost.
a picture.
Where am I?
He looked great, man.
I need to go to this
He looked
coffee shop real
fantastic.
quick.
Oh, you know he's.
Oh,
That's the
gosh.
best part about going over there. Their coffee shop's open at like 11, and it's like whenever we're open, we're open. You don't worry
Yeah.
about it. It's not America.
It's
They
so
take, I mean,
laid back.
they take naps in the middle of the
Yes.
day. They get offended when you come in the middle of the
Yeah,
day. Like,
they're not working all
Wait,
day.
out of your mind?
Like if I go in at lunchtime.
Siesta, bro. They're sleeping.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah,
And it takes forever to eat because they're not
like
in a hurry.
mandated. It's their lifestyle. Like that's their lifestyle.
You're joining their
like,
culture.
Yeah,
Oh, all right.
like you're
So
stepping
you
into
fit
their-
into us.
So
I mean,
when
you
in
remember when Portnoy
Exactly.
put the video out like he was in Italy and they were like, everybody's closed for lunch?
Yeah.
What, they don't eat lunch here? And like people just like start freaking out, you know? Like, they're like, yeah, man, you still know the lifestyle.
I probably would
you
freak
know?
out if I couldn't get it like.
Oh,
lunch.
A hungry American.
I'm hungry. Like,
Yeah.
this is when I eat.
A hangry American.
Uh-huh. Rebecca
worst.
went over there to travel abroad for school, and she was like, "We can't get coffee at 7 in the morning. What are they doing?" And I was
Where
like,
was she?
Italy.
Okay.
And I was like, they don't care about you.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like,
right.
I loved it.
Right.
I mean,
I was like, nobody's moving.
I know.
It's the weather's nice in the morning. You walk around. It's like, you open? No,
but
cool.
if I've
All
had
right.
my morning dosage, Coach, I'm trying to eat.
I mean, Coach, you can get spots.
Yeah,
you know what I
there's
mean. But you're
somewhere.
not sitting down and getting
Oh,
your,
no,
you know what I mean.
I can
You're
take
not
it to
eating your
go.
your 4-course meal for sure.
cool
We
with
went
taking it
to the best place I've ever been like that, and it was a part of. I mean, it was almost an annexation of Europe. Was Saint Martin, which is down like in the Caribbean.
Yeah.
But it was like under France's
Jurisdiction.
leadership and like.
The French.
I mean, bro, like you would like they were like closing the gates, like the security gates, like they were like bringing down the
afternoon.
chains at like 11 o'clock in the morning, like locking up, and like
They're done.
we just wanted to see your selection, like no,
Yeah, we're
get away, like slamming the cage, like what's the matter with you?
No American.
So much more work to keep people out.
I've got money.
know.
They're like, we don't care.
Care?
Right? Like,
They don't.
You like American
you know,
money?
everything in America, you're like, we'll pay.
Yeah.
Hey, I got money. Let me in.
Keep your
Americans are like, okay, well, cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me 200 here. You go, all right, keep coming. You know,
It's
like,
These pockets real quick.
Europeans are like, no. Keep moving.
Done. Everybody has their dog inside.
All right, we're going to talk LSU baseball with Jacques coming up here in a couple of minutes. JD's going to be from Hoover. Says he wants to go video because he's going poolside. He asked me whether or not phone call or video call. I said, it's your choice, man. Whatever you want to do.
Video
he have the
for
link?
sure.
Video, because he can't
I
hear
told him.
us.
I told him he could use the link from yesterday.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
You can. Just making sure he has it in Twitter.
All right. When we come back, we'll talk to Jacques. We will be live over in Hoover and
Speaking
get the
of France,
latest
Jacques Doucet.
from Jacques and see what how we feel here on Skeens Day. As Skeens gets it this afternoon, as he'll get the start for LSU going up against Arkansas. Arkansas, the Hogs are throwing their ace as well. This should be a good one, man.
Calling all
We will talk to Jacques coming up here next on the Jordy Culotta Show.
The worst.
Big Suey. Clank, 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 clank.
Worst.
Hey Baton Rouge, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, whether you need to fill up your vehicle or your belly, stop by Go-Mart and On The Go Deli. Go-Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you might need on your trip. So stop by Go-Mart at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on the left, and visit Tom and Wright Granning and their awesome team at Go-Mart.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, locally can help you with any of your home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health insurance today. Give them a call, 225-383-0682, or log online to 48agency.com.
Hey, she's on her way up.
Hey, G, I got you something.
Hey, Coach. What do you think? Is this too much?
If you look good, you play good.
All right, then. Let's get it done.
Do you need your roof checked or just ready to get a new roof? Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal has helped over 10,000 customers with their roofs over the last 2 decades. Premier South employs over 300 team members in South Louisiana. They're accredited by the Better Business Bureau. They've been named in the top 100 roofers in the nation for a number of years. And Premier South has former insurance adjusters in-house whose job it is to help get all the insurance money you deserve. So go to PremierSouthLA.com for Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal and get your free inspection.
Premier South Roofing.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get Gordon and get it done. Get Gordon and get it done.
In 1975, Mike Anderson left the gridiron for the grill, opening a po' boy shop near LSU. If you're from Louisiana, odds are you've tasted a dish, experienced the tradition of Mike Anderson's seafood. 48 years later, the tradition of Mike Anderson's lives on with the next generation.
I'm very thankful. He's never allowed okay to be okay. It's a driving force for me to just want to keep it as good as he made it.
Mike Anderson Seafood and WAFB, celebrating the community. Welcome in, welcome back. Jordy Culotta Show Thursday edition here. As always, brought to you by R&B Builders. Get in touch with them. Remember, our show is also brought to you by Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal. Get in touch with Premier South at online, premiersouthlA.com. They'll take care of all of your roofing needs, commercial, residential, metal roofing, gutters and awnings. They can help you out. Online, premiersouthlA.com. Remember, if your roof is 8 years or older, you qualify for a free inspection. Odds are you qualify for a brand new roof. Call the pros over at Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal. You don't need to call them. You just need to log online to premiersouthlA.com. All right, JD is down in Hoover getting ready for Game 2 for LSU this afternoon versus Arkansas. Tigers and Hogs set to square off, around like 4:30?
Yeah, 4:30 Central Time.
Jacques, I gave Jacques the option of going phoner or video. He hit back that he's got a good backdrop. He does. Look at that.
Look at him.
But you have your shirt on. We thought you were going to be topless at least.
Yeah, I thought you were going Speedo and goggles.
Take it off.
Show us the nipple rings.
Stand up. Turn around. Good to
Touch
see
your
you. Good
toes.
morning. How are you?
I'm doing great in rural Alabama. No, we're not rural Alabama. Just on the outskirts of Birmingham here at the Marriott. And so Tigers win yesterday, play another game today, and they win today. Then they get a day off Friday and then play Saturday. So it was a good start for the Tigers. Big crowd of purple and gold yesterday at the Hoover Met, and which is an interesting topic in itself, Jordy. I listen to the local radio and other people, and every time it rains here, people get emotional and say, got to move that tournament. It's always here at Hoover. Move it around, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I've always enjoyed coming here and covering this event. I think they've got a good thing going here.
I agree with you. I think that they do a great job in hosting events. I always liked when SEC Media Days was there, Jacques. I got to be honest. I mean, I thought they did a great job of hosting that. Jacques, Paul Skeens will get the ball today. I thought more, let's recap yesterday. Thatcher Hurd, that was a big moment for LSU, right? For him to extend his outing like he did and pitch the way he did. That's a big moment for LSU in the postseason.
Yeah, Jordy, I was saying in my stories yesterday, we've been hearing all year that LSU has Paul Skeens, a superstar, and nobody else. And certainly there has been some credence to that. But Ty Floyd has been pretty solid lately. And if Thatcher Hurd can be trusted as well, maybe, just maybe, LSU's got 3 solid starters on the mound going into the NCAA tournament. And Javen Coleman has been struggling to get his pitch count up. He's done a solid job coming off of Tommy John, but maybe, just maybe, he's not a starter as well. Maybe you bring him in relief. So, yeah, I mean, for Thatcher to go out there and retire the first 12 batters he faced in the game, and I don't think he gave up a hit into the 5th inning, which was a solo home run. They tried to grind him through 6 innings. It didn't quite work out, but he certainly gave LSU a big-time performance. That's why they brought him here from UCLA. Stan Dutton comes in the 6th inning, faces one batter, walks him home. Immediately they pull him and bring in Nate Ackenhausen, and then the job Ackenhausen did on the back half of the game was huge. So that's a dream scenario for Jay Johnson, a starter to eat up 5 innings and a reliever to go almost 4 innings. That certainly hasn't been the case a lot of times this year with this team, but it was yesterday. And then Braden Jobert kind of breaks the seal offensively, gets the 2-run homer in the second inning, and LSU did a great job manufacturing runs. They got 2 runs on bases loaded walks. They had 2 runs on sacrifice flies, and they kind of, to use a football analogy, which I think Jay Johnson does, they moved the ball. They moved the baseball, and they moved the base pass, and it was a great start.
Arkansas and LSU will square off at 4:30 this afternoon, and you'll see both teams' aces go at one another. This is the second time that these two will match up in this similar type of style, as Skeens will go today versus Arkansas. You get this sense when Skeens goes that LSU has this supreme confidence riding behind him, right? I mean, obviously they do because of his win-loss record, but, I mean, the team almost seems different on days that he pitches. Is that right, Jacques?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, they seem to hit. They seem to relax. If you're a fan, I think I joked about it. You kick your feet up, you have a few beers, and you think, hey, we're not going to lose today. I mean, you go back to that Mississippi State series at home, and it just shows you the difference, right? I mean, this is what makes baseball so much different than other sports. You never take Joe Burrow out of the game, but in baseball, you got to pitch different guys. And on Friday, they 10-run rule Mississippi State 12-2, and then on Saturday the bullpen collapses late, and then on Sunday the bullpen really collapses as they blew a 13-4 lead in 5 innings. So, I had a chance to go visit with Skip Bertman on Sunday. Had a great conversation with him, and we were talking about greatest pitchers of all time. And Skip, I think, is still kind of sentimental to his guy Ben McDonald. Paul Skeens, look, does a lot of great stuff. But as good as Ben, don't know about that. But as far as greats, I think I saw Coach Maneri on a show yesterday, and he said, I've never seen a pitcher this dominant. So
I
thought that was I saw it. It was with Moscona. He was with Moscona, and he was talking, and he said that Paul Skeens is the most dominant college baseball pitcher he's ever seen. And Maneri, who's got a rap for not handing out compliments other than to his guys, I thought that was a big moment for him.
Well, a guy that coached Aaron Nola, right?
Right.
A guy who coached Alex Lang and Lewis Coleman and on down the line. I mean, Jared Poche wasn't a guy with dominating power and stuff, but he picked LSU's all-time leader in wins and stuff. So, that was interesting to see. I mean, Big Ben was 6'7", wiry, strong. I mean, Paul Skeens is 6'8". It looks like he could line up on Brian Kelly's offensive line or defensive line or something. I mean, he looks like a football player, and the power in the 7th and 8th inning to still be at 99, 100 miles an hour is just incredible. And just the confidence, too, that he exudes, like, you're not beating me today. You're not getting any runs off of me. And and for him to come from the Air Force Academy, all the discipline he has. And Bertman even told me that when his baseball career is over with, which could be 2 decades from now, I don't know, but he wants to go back to the Air Force and graduate and actually serve our country in some capacity. So, they don't make them like him very often.
Josh Pearson seems like the latest in guys that get an opportunity and make the most of them on this team. Jacques, the adversity that this team faced during the last 3 weeks of the regular season, I think it was imminent, right? I mean, they had to at some point come down to earth with the way that they were playing early in the season. And now it seems like they're kind of making it out. Where does Pearson fit in your opinion? Because it seems like he is, like I said, he's making the most of every opportunity that he gets.
Yeah, certainly did the job yesterday, and certainly came through during the Georgia series as well. A guy that hadn't played a ton earlier this year, and some moves yesterday. And Trey Morgan goes back to first base. Jared Jones had hit 14 home runs for LSU this year, but he struck out 67 times, I think. I think he's striking out like once every 2 at-bats. So they've made some moves there. Pearson, reliable kid, doing a good job for LSU, and we'll see how it goes. But it's funny because, back to Bertman, he would always say tax day is when you kind of want to have your lineup and things set, and that's April the 15th, and we're way past that, right? We're over a month past that, and they're still kind of toying and working with some things. But they got 2 more games here in Hoover to figure it out to an extent, and then next weekend you're at the box and you're playing to either advance to a super and then go to Omaha or the fans. I'm saying it kind of tongue in cheek, but people up in stands with the pitchforks, you better
That's right.
with the expectations on this team. I always find it funny, and I asked Bertman about that. How do you handle the psychology of the pressure of this year? I hear some people say, "Oh, go out and have fun. Yeah, it's the same game you've always played." It ain't that. There's a lot of pressure that comes with playing at LSU and coaching there, obviously.
Jacques, obviously LSU and Arkansas taking center stage this afternoon, and that's two of the top teams in the league. But I think there are some college baseball fans that are looking at the chance of maybe seeing LSU and Florida square off here this week, right? Where throughout the entire regular season, if I had a vote, they have felt like the most consistent top teams. I think just with the competition that they're playing, I know Wake Forest is doing some magical stuff over there on the East Coast, but as far as the SEC goes, Florida and LSU have been the top two dogs. Is there talk about a potential matchup yet down there? Not with LSU baseball. I know that they're worried about Arkansas, but just kind of people that you're seeing around the tournament.
Well, I think from LSU's perspective, Jordy, so they come here and Jay Johnson says, we're a top 8 national seed no matter what. No matter what we do at the tournament, we go 0-2, and we feel like we've done enough to be a top 8 national seed. And if we're not, something really went wrong in the committee room. And so LSU wins another one yesterday, got a chance to play against an Arkansas team, obviously with a high RPI. And I asked him, I said, look, there's a lot of people that say, hey, you don't need to stay in Hoover any longer than you need to. Get back and start getting ready for the NCAA tournament. And he said, well, we got two choices. We either play games in Hoover or the guys have two-a-day practices back in Baton Rouge. Take your choice. So if they're here, they might as well try to win it, right? Florida had a chance to see, their coaching staff up in the stands yesterday. Chris Guillot was actually visiting. I should know this off the top of my head. Haven't had my caffeine. The head coach at Florida that had interviewed.
Yes.
What's his name?
Lopez. Is it? Man, I should know it too. I'm sorry.
Kevin O'Sullivan.
Kevin O'Sullivan. Thank you. So Chris Guillot's hamming it up with Kevin O'Sullivan in the stands yesterday before the game. They're all hanging out and everything. So anyway, that would be a huge matchup, I think. And certainly, can LSU be the number 1 overall seed in the tournament? Is that going to be Wake Forest? Who's that going to be? Hey, if you're here, just keep playing, just keep winning. No need to go home early.
LSU ladies hit the White House today, heading to Washington, D.C. Obviously, you're over there in Hoover. But this is a big day for the program, right? With Coach Mulkey, just 2 years after being in Baton Rouge, back home, taking her group to go celebrate a national championship in our nation's capital.
Yeah, Jordy can't be in two places at once. Certainly would love to be there, but Perry Robinson, our news reporter, he's going to do a great job being there today, and it's always interesting. I don't want to talk about politics too much or whatnot, but there have been certain people over the years who tried to discredit Coach Mulkey and call her MAGA Mulkey and this and that because she took her team to the White House when there was a president that they didn't like. So, if they don't like the president, then she's not supposed to go. But I think this is her 4th trip, obviously, to the White House as a head coach, and it's been 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans. And, I think Joe Burrow did a great job talking about this in 2019 when LSU went up there and just saying, hey, whether you're Democrat or Republican, today's a big day to go up to be honored properly and to enjoy the White House and to enjoy what will be a once-in-a-lifetime experience for a lot of these young ladies to go up there and enjoy it. I will say this, when the LSU football team went, and I know they probably somebody put all that stuff in the teleprompter and everything, but when they went that one time, they really did an awesome job honoring LSU, the football team, at the White House. Trump was reading stuff about Steve Ensminger, the great assistant coach. He had the whole thing broken down.
Everybody loves McDonald's.
It was a great job. So hopefully Coach Biden, Joe Biden, has that ready today.
JD, enjoy your laps this morning. I wonder if the rest of the residents over there at the spot where you're staying think that you're like filming a TikTok or something out by the pool.
Please do that next.
Stand up and give him a dance, Jacques.
A crazy, lonely man sitting here in the middle of this.
Talking into his phone.
Right. Honey, come see this.
But I'm not the strangest person of the day. I'll just tell you real quick. I woke up today and there was a fire truck outside with the lights on.
Oh, no.
And some dude sitting in the lobby, and apparently, I don't know, his family called 911 that he was missing, and then there was a wreck, and they found him. And,
oh my
anyway,
God.
Interview him.
I won't be the sore thumb of the residents here. So.
There he is, Jacques Doucet. Wow, what a story. WAFB down covering in Hoover. They have found your man. He is found. It's all good. Have a good day, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
Never boring in Alabama, boy. See you later.
There he is, Jacques, checking in this morning.
Found Uncle Bob.
What a story.
Oh, who knows what trouble Bob was in?
Yeah.
Shows up in ripped jeans and the fire department's here, and he's like,
cargo shorts and flip flops.
I don't know what happened. Jacques still in there.
You know what? I don't get the backlash for trips to the White House.
I don't be
for championship teams. Like, that is one of the most
because people make it political
idiotic
every time.
stances out there, because like it's on the team who's on, who's in office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's whoever is in that seat, it's still the White House.
Right.
It's still a trip
it's
to
just an honor.
It's still a trip to go tour the White House with the president. Like, who cares how you feel about him or her personally? Like, you're getting a guided tour around the most famous piece of real estate in the world.
And you're being honored for what you did.
Right. Like, and you're being recognized in front of this,
the world,
of the nation's capital. Like, what am I missing on how somebody can catch backlash? I mean, I know you're right, Katie, it is political, but I mean, so a team is supposed to catch a stray because of who's sitting in the Oval Office, and they decide to go visit the White House to celebrate their accomplishment. It is amazing how polarizing our country has become. And I know this isn't new. I mean, teams have been doing this now for a while. I mean, this is something that goes back for a while. Was it the Golden State Warriors that decided not to go to the White House? Georgia has decided not to go to the White House. I think there was a minute there where Angel Reese was coming out and saying she wasn't going to the White House. I'm glad to see that Angel has decided to make the trip. It makes the experience for LSU basketball that much more important, grand with her appearance.
Oh, the TikTok's about to be made in there today.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
Get the gat.
I mean, LSU football had a time.
The LSU football.
They turned that thing into a party.
I was reading on LSU football, like, these trips for championship teams are reserved for like an hour and a half windows. Like, they go in there, the president brings them to the Rose Garden. They make like that speech about the team, where the team's standing behind the president.
Give him a jersey.
That whole thing. They take them inside. They take a couple of pictures. Then they get them on a bus and they get them the hell out of there. LSU stayed like for 3.5 hours in the White House, and they got everybody like in Trump's seat with a picture.
Yeah.
Like, they don't allow these teams to go into the Oval Office. I was reading, and LSU's like, Justin Jefferson's got his feet on the desk.
They're making videos.
Like throwing. I mean, they got Jeannie Bordelon in there. I mean, getting the gat that still to this day
is viral.
Is a viral video.
Yeah.
Like, still to this
People
day
still use that video
is a
day.
meme.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's still a viral video of that day. Now, for LSU, do you think they cared who the president was?
Well, I think
like, with that
individuals
experience,
did probably.
Sure, but I mean, like,
just like Angel Reese,
overarchingly,
clearly.
I mean, but like, Angel, after today, you will have this experience of going to. You'll see Biden for 10 minutes.
Right.
Like, I mean, it's not like you're going over there and talking.
Exactly.
Like, what's your stance on, like
women's
international
rights.
trade?
Exactly.
Like,
Talk about abortion.
Let's talk about Brittany Griner.
What's your stance on? Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, Joe, appreciate the words. Here's the picture. Let's keep it moving.
Let's talk about Hunter.
Hey, where is Hunter?
Where's he at? Like, he's roaming around here somewhere.
He's in the bathroom.
He's on his laptop.
I could just think about like Edo walking around the White
dude.
House.
I know,
Who's
right?
that blonde right there? Come here, go.
Lord.
You got you a secretary?
Like Bill Clinton 2.0.
You know, I just won a national
Did you
championship.
hear what Trump told O the first time he met him when he met them at the White House?
Probably the same person.
No, he looked at him. He goes, "Your wife is beautiful."
Oh my God.
Jeez, they're the same person.
Ogeron
Yeah.
said, "So is yours."
You want to trade?
Oh my
So
God.
funny.
The same
I was
person.
like, this guy looked at me like he was surprised I had a pretty wife.
You would fight?
I'll take my shirt off right now.
No. Where's the cigar room? That was Bill.
All right, so I appreciate Jacques, appreciate Billy Embody coming by and talking recruiting here on this Thursday morning. What do we have, a Throwback Thursday segment?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was gonna ask on the break. Are we
Yeah, you
ready?
can go to break and figure out. Or you can take your phone calls. Did y'all do phone calls yesterday?
We did
do
not.
phone calls yesterday.
Because we were waiting on
We
your
bolted
7:30
out of here
show
to get to
drop.
the pregame show that you told us to promote, and
Yeah.
then there was no internet.
You bum.
Hey, it's
so-
uploading right now, by the
yeah.
way.
Oh, good.
By the way.
Sounds
perfect.
Not only did we preview one game, we previewed the whole weekend.
26
So-
hours later on that pregame show I told you about in South Carolina, LSU. It'll be coming up to you today.
So many people were DMing me like, "Why did y'all left the show at 7:30 and said we were going straight
It was
into
so
Mike's
great,
Up?
too,
What
man.
happened?"
I mean, I thought for sure it was a relay. I was out at 7:30. I thought this was beautiful. Look at Lloyd stepping up on the road,
no.
doing a
Road
show,
warrior.
a
No.
pregame show. Look
We
at this
did.
guy, man.
Did.
Yeah.
You just hand off the baton to him at 7:30. They're gonna walk him right up until 9:30.
I bet Mikey was
10 minutes
angry.
later, I get a text.
No.
He wasn't.
Where's your show at? I'm like, well, shouldn't you be watching Mic'd Up? They're like, I don't see anything on Mic'd Up.
We went to
What's
the.
up here?
We had 838. We tried. We didn't have a very good plan.
Yeah. Oh no.
Shocker.
No way.
Wasn't my.
No
I mean,
way.
I asked a lot of questions.
Lloyd,
did
you
not
not
get-
having a good plan?
I
so
had
surprised
I
to
had
hear
questions that I
that.
did not get answers to, and so I said, you know what? I'll roll with the punches, boys. Whatever y'all want to do, we'll do.
Gary and Ace.
Who did this?
That wasn't me.
Put your arm down your
was
side,
not me.
slow and steady.
That was not me. I don't have anything in my arms. I don't have anything to. I'm not putting them down. I don't have anything here.
Beltless.
That was Stewie. That was Lloyd.
Yeah. Who
Happy
were you
birthday,
who
Jack.
Were you asking the questions to?
No, the air.
Yeah, right.
Just out into
Just
the
tell her we're
ether.
gonna do something at
The
7:30.
Airbnb host.
Yeah, that son of a bitch. We have it. We have internet. Like, no, we don't. TV doesn't even work.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's the worst.
Provide our own entertainment.
How'd
Tell
that go?
stories. Talk by the fire.
Talk about the fire.
Get molested.
I mean, dude, it got weird in that Airbnb.
It did.
Oh,
That
it
sounds like it.
If those walls could talk.
No show.
No show.
Did y'all bring strippers
21st
back?
birthdays.
No, can you do that?
Can you bring strippers
can.
back?
I wouldn't know.
Well,
If you
yeah,
pay
if they
for
want.
it.
Everything.
What's your price?
Anything's for sale.
Wait, what happened?
Everybody got a price.
Shout out Peaches.
Oh my God.
The furnace.
Oh my
It doesn't
God.
close
He's
at
gonna
2.
have pink eye tomorrow.
Might have it right now.
Oh shit,
Where's
He's
my
rubbing his eye during the game. Come on, Skeens, let's go, man.
man.
crotch?
Can't throw a strike.
Crotch hurts. Burns.
Been itching all
Been
day.
itching. They got mosquitoes here.
I can't go pee again, man. It hurts too much.
Did y'all pee a weird color? Is that blood?
Oh my God! All right, we're going too deep now.
That's what she said.
I knew it right when I said it.
Where's my belt?
Champagne room. All right, appreciate everybody for being here this morning. Are we doing this Throwback Thursday? Let's take a break and we'll be right back.
Hell yeah.
We may or may not.
Donaldsonville Glass and Body, the trusted name in frame, body, and automotive paint repair since 1977. They have served their customers for over 45 years. You can find them online at dgbauto.com or stop in and see them Railroad Avenue and Division Street out in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Look, they can help you with your insurance claims. They can make the repair process as stress-free as possible. I'm speaking from experience here. I've got numerous windshields, body repair, all done by Kenny and the crew over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body. They are, without question, the most well-equipped shop in the area. Stop in and see them today. Shop them online, dgbauto.com, or stop in and see the crew over in Division Street in Donaldsonville, Louisiana. Donaldsonville Glass and Body. Hey fellas, it's Jordy Culotta for my friends over at Men's Total Health. Guys, do you suffer from fatigue, decreased libido, erectile dysfunction, weight gain or loss of muscle mass, signs of depression, anxiety, hair loss, mental fog, general loss of interest? Then you might be suffering from low testosterone. Go see my friend Mike Roach and his great team over at Men's Total Health, over in Metairie at menstotalhealth.net online. And stop in and see how they can change your life today. A simple shot and some knowledge from Mike Roach can get you back up, moving with your energy, get your sex drive back, build your muscle mass, make you feel young again. All online, menstotalhealth.net. Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Get going and get it done. Get going and get it done. Corrects done. Personal injury done. Workers' comp done. Truck wrecks done. Get going and get it done. Get going and get it done.
In 1975, Mike Anderson left the gridiron for the grill, opening a po' boy shop near LSU. If you're from Louisiana, odds are you've tasted a dish, experienced the tradition of Mike Anderson's seafood. 48 years later, the tradition of Mike Anderson's lives on with the next generation.
I'm very thankful. He's never allowed okay to be okay. It's a driving force for me to just want to keep it as good as he made it.
Mike Anderson Seafood and WAFB, celebrating the community.
The threat by Mars in the pitch. Swung on and hit the right field. That's way back there. Way back there. Hold on! Tigers win! Tigers win! Home run! It's a two-run home run! And the Tigers do the national champ! I don't believe it! It's first home run of the year! Holy cow!
The Daniels, sprint out, throw to the right, caught! Right corner of the end zone! Mason Taylor! Tigers win! Tigers win! Hey now! Stops, throws it as far as he can. Count! Touchdown! I do not believe it! The Tigers pulled off another miracle! It was Devery Henderson who caught it on the last play of the game!
And now, the greatest moments in LSU history.
Thursday, Throwback Thursday edition here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Each Thursday for the next 13 weeks. We
12.
will take a 12 weeks. 11? No,
10.
Wait, is this how many weeks till football season starts?
It's actually
12?
102
11?
days from today.
Quick math.
So,
That sounds longer.
it's 102 days until LSU, Florida State from today.
How many weeks is 102 days?
I don't know.
Me either. Depends on the time zone.
Don't make me math.
Oh God.
Don't
How
make
many
me-
times
I'm
does
starting to
4
zone
go
out
into
already.
102? Jamil, you just graduated from college.
How many weeks is 102 days?
How many times?
There's a Google machine for this, guys.
What would it be? 4? No. It
7?
would be 7.
Jesus, y'all.
What time
I
zone?
like when we expose how fucking
Yeah,
stupid
me
we
too.
are
It's
on
just-
air.
You can't do
Relax.
math
It's
on the
math.
spot.
It is 14 and a half weeks. So
Okay.
Precisely. As I said, 14 and a half weeks.
Until
14.5714.
toe meets
precisely.
leather.
yeah.
Ed Johnson, 14. Thank you, Ed. We needed you 3 minutes ago.
That's all right.
Yeah,
You got the
thanks.
calculator
Where
out.
have you
TI
been?
84 plus.
Timing, not
Who even are you?
Not your specialty there, Ed.
Make sure you have your graphing calculator
Calculators out.
Jamil, you got our answer over there, college grad? No, I screwed up the question. It should have been 102 divided by 7.
Which is
We already got it figured out though, Jamil.
14 and a half.
Don't worry about it. Don't be scared.
Okay, yeah. Man, send your money back, Mr. Johnson.
Which is how
Get
many,
your money back.
How many hours?
College is a scam.
And what time zone
She
is
still
it
don't even know how
in?
to divide. She thought there were 4 days in a week.
I told you D was a fraud.
So every Throwback Thursday, we pick one from the vault, and we have landed on the LSU Auburn game 1988. I'm going to take a stab at it and say I was the only one in the room that was there
Yes.
Yes.
that night. 2 of the 5 of us were not born yet, right?
Not even close. Wasn't it?
Jamil, what year were you born?
Jesus.
Ugh, gross.
What year were
I
you
don't-
born, Stewie?
96.
I don't know anything about the
was born
earthquake
at the end
game
of the-
except that there was a game called the earthquake game.
Jamil was born in 2001.
Where was LSU in
Stewie in
2001?
96. 2001, they were making the come up.
Yeah.
They were
What
SEC
bowl
champs.
games?
Making the what?
Sugar.
Oh, yes.
On the come up.
Illinois?
Illinois.
Yeah, see, that was that. This is my fandom started.
Wasn't there? Is this the only game though that was read on a seismograph? Weren't there others?
So,
They did Bama on the seismograph.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is a great myth.
Calling Baton Rouge
Yeah,
registered live.
This is
Not real.
This is a great. The way that the way that I read this, I mean, there's no way that the earth shook,
I mean,
right?
You were there.
I was there. I
Yeah,
was there.
did it
and
shake
It was
under your
rocking.
feet?
What I think happens is they shook the geology building,
Okay.
right? Which shook the seismograph machine,
Okay.
Which was turned on.
Right.
right? So, like, I mean, you know, like, there's not tectonic plates underneath the earth that are shifting because of what's happening in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, right?
dare you say that?
Right.
Right?
How dare
How
you
dare
say
you, Jordy?
that earthquake game wasn't real?
I know. I feel like people are gonna get mad.
Oh, you're
at
about
you.
to be a tiger driver.
I was there, man. I was there. In fact, I swear to you, Stewie, if you bring up Hodson DeFuller's game-winning touchdown, if you play it slow, I'll show you exactly where I was sitting on the celebration. Because my grandfather, for 40 years, 45 years, had the same ticket. And we would sit. He sat there. He watched Cannon return the punt there. We sat there and watched. My grandfather, bro. What do you want from me? It wasn't me.
Man, my bag is
2
time.
generations above me.
Sometime work, Stewart.
He's a time traveler.
But we sat in one of those purple boxes that still exist in Tiger Stadium, the little purple box. And I'm telling you, if you sat in this box, your nuts would cut the 50-yard line. I mean, like, you were in the middle of the field. If you sat in the middle of the box, the 50-yard line would laser you. You know what I mean?
Run
like,
right
I mean,
through your nuts.
right, exactly.
Split me in half.
And you're and we're 2 purple boxes up. I'm telling you, Coach, before the invention of suites and the stadium club in Tiger Stadium, it was the best seat in the house.
Was it like enclosed?
It was just those little purple boxes in the stadium that they're like
They're
six
still
people.
there.
You know what
yeah.
I mean, usually like people are all kind of like
Yeah.
crammed up in it. Now I look at it and I'm like, damn,
I know.
It's like
how did I do that?
I know.
You know what I mean?
I'm
But
trying to think about what he's
I'm
talking
telling
about.
you, when Hodson hit, when Hodson hit Fuller, he hits him 3 times. The first one he drops it, like stop right there, Stewie, stop right there. This is us right here. This is us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah.
How old are you?
Like that is where we are sitting, and I
That's
I mean
wild.
the video is so grainy, but like if you because you know where they are on the field when they're scanning right there, and I remember I like jumped into my grandfather, like I mean like into that time, like if you fall off of this thing, and I'm like these little boxes like kind of like cut you
You off in the knees.
and like you know you could easily.
Tumble.
And I'm sure that has happened
Absolutely, it
before,
has.
right? And I'm surprised it didn't happen in ours. But I remember, like, as soon as that happened, that eruption, I mean, like, look at that place. The place is mayhem. I mean, people are dancing on top of each other.
So that's the moment that it supposedly registered?
And that's the moment where it registered.
Okay.
It also registered with Garth Brooks. Like they say, like same thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like,
Girth.
It's loud. It's going to vibrate everything
give me
around
the distance between Tiger Stadium and the Geology
it. Right.
It's probably
what are we, a couple hundred yards?
Yeah.
I know.
You know,
Nah,
I mean,
actually,
like,
the geology building is like cross campus.
There you go, Jamil. Here's another one for you.
It's
Your college grad. Let's see how much time you spend on campus. Where's the geology building?
It's Howard Russell.
Yeah.
I mean, the only reason I know that is because I had to take geology, so I would have to go there. But it's like in the quad.
Geology is like rocks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I took
The
oceanography.
Oh, you did?
Chad Jones tried to cheat off of me during a test.
Oof.
And I was like,
Chad, we want you to play.
This is when he came back.
Yeah, we're trying to keep your eligibility,
Yeah,
Chad.
I was like, not me, man. Not me. I was like, I'm looking at this paper in front of me.
See, that's what I would tell
right. I'm trying to actually cheat off of you, Chad. I figured you
had
had a better
test.
plan than me.
Like they come to class and they're like,
you're counting on me, Chad. We're screwed.
We're in a tight spot.
Like,
Don't you play
cheat off of
Saturday?
you.
No.
You're smart.
I would not cheat off of Lloyd. But like,
I would find a way to cheat, and then you would like those. Yeah,
Right.
I'll get you a C.
Third hand.
Yeah. But like the football players will come to class on test day and they're like,
Yeah.
That Scantron should be
you have the
bubbled.
answers, and it's like, bro, I don't have shit.
Right.
I didn't even look at this until 2
What
hours
do you mean,
ago.
do I have it? I'm counting on you to have
Right,
it. Y'all
I'm
are the
like-
ones that get everything.
Exactly.
There's a reason I'm smoking a cigarette before this test.
Right? I'm like, isn't that girl right there your tutor? Like, ask her.
Yeah, right. Can she take my test too? Here's my student ID number.
That's amazing.
He's a backup. He didn't even play.
Do you have some paw points?
So we're debunking the earthquake, basically.
I don't think. I mean, we can't be the first.
Look, LSU
No, we
Media
can't be.
LSU Media Center released a news statement in 2022 saying, from Daryl Henry, you're looking at at seismic waves that go through the ground. They don't go through air. The shaking is a function of the energy that's been released. You're getting a sense of the energy that's released from all these people jumping up and down and yelling. When you see different amounts of energy, you get higher magnitude wiggles. So the size.
McGrath?
Seismometer? Seismometer? Picks up the vertical motion from the reaction to the LSU touchdown. The touchdown showed the greatest magnitude response lasting about 10 seconds. Sounds familiar.
I mean, that makes sense, right? I believe that.
Shake the earth.
I can believe that it shook. I mean, it's Tiger Stadium.
It
so I
shook
can believe
Baton
that it
Rouge. It
shook
shook
enough
campus.
Okay.
to register on a seismograph that was right nearby, right? Right.
Great story, huh?
Yeah,
The
it is a great
seismograph,
story.
yeah.
It's a fabulous story.
It's a great story. You
Because
know
it
what I
happened
mean?
again for Jaden Daniels' touchdown.
See, now
It
it's
did?
starting
It registered
to happen a
again?
lot. You know what I mean? Now you're losing a little bit of the.
You're losing the luster.
Stop. Right.
What's
There's
wrong
no
with
more
you?
just
Why are you
Nothing's wrong with
earthquake
me.
game,
I'm
right?
just trying to. I'm just
Well,
trying
now
to
there
play
are several
devil's
earthquake
advocate.
games.
How
Technically.
How old were you during that?
8.
So you're trying to tell
It
8-year-old
was
Jordy
actually 2 days
you're killing Santa.
after my 8th birthday. I mean, I remember is October 8th, 1988. I'm telling you, bro. I remember this thing. Stewie, if you, I'm telling you, if you played the fourth quarter, I would scare you. I know the thing word for word. I mean, I can give you the play-by-play, the color, and the sideline reporters full script.
Do it.
Wow.
I'm telling you, like, well, I have to have it. It's like a song,
Right?
Yeah.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? I can't just free flow it.
Play
But
it
if
with
you
the
have
audio
it,
and let him go.
if you have it behind there, if you bring up that fourth drive, I mean, we'll probably lose sponsorship today, right? If we play.
Oh
this.
no, we can trim it.
Okay. So if you bring up the drive, and I'll tell you where it starts, and I can still tell you the first play of the last drive is a post route to Alvin Lee.
Wow.
That Alvin Lee hits him in the hands and he drops. And like it would have been LSU's first like big play of the night. I'm telling you, it was one of the worst football games that you could ever go to. LSU did not cross midfield until the fourth quarter. It was a Les Miles type offensive night where they just it was like watching paint dry. They went 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. I mean, it was 3 out punt, 3 out punt, 3 out punt the entire night.
It was 7-6.
Right.
Jeez.
How nervous was that extra point?
I think he striped it, though, if I remember correctly.
I would imagine.
That might have been David Browndyke.
I'm just trying to find stats from
Yeah,
this
people
game.
aren't happy about it. I mean, they're even calling you a Bama fan for some reason. I don't know how that plays into this, but
He likes the tie.
I mean, the guy killed Santa Claus.
So wait, Stewie, can you play the audio? I mean, I need a little touch of the audio. I mean, I can't like
gotta
make
get
this
him
thing
going.
up. Yeah, right. Like you gotta like kick me off the dock here.
Yeah, put him in B.
the pads get me.
Look, drop, boom. There you go. See, know what I'm talking about. Alvin Lee, drop.
I do not doubt that you know what you're talking about. I know you know
Stewie's
every
grinding
minute
over
of
there.
this.
There you go. Take it out of mute.
I want to say that this is Adrian Karsten is the sideline reporter. If you remember, excuse me, not Adrian Karsten, Chris Fowler.
You could tell me anything.
Chris Fowler
Same.
is the sideline reporter.
Oh, wow.
A young Chris Fowler. This is his first time in Tiger Stadium.
Sweating through his suit.
Is that night? I want to say Ron Franklin is the play-by-play. I don't know the names. I know the voices.
We're off.
Kicked us.
Ah,
ESPN.
dang.
Temporarily blocked. We'll be back. We'll be back.
This happens to Kidgenomics all the time.
Damn it. I mean, I've never seen that before. That
Me
was,
either.
like,
I've never
live
watched
for
it.
me.
I've never
I mean,
watched the entire drive before.
I mean, yeah, I've never watched any of that.
That was fun. I love bending the
How
rules
long has
just
it
a
been
little
sitting there
bit.
unavailable? Because I've been watching it.
Me-